All right, so we'll be talking about academic language and what it means for within in the English language arts. So starting off, we're just going to speak a little bit about what is academic language, and this is the language that is used in classroom texts, lessons, and tests. So versus what language is used when you're like socializing with your friends or outside the park or on a soccer field. This language is specifically geared towards what you need in order to the understand like the readings that you have in class, and also being able to properly respond to a test, understanding the verbiage that's used in the questions, and then responding with an adequate answer that utilizes this type of language. And of course, like the lessons, understanding what the lesson is trying to teach you, and being able to meet the expectations of it. And so the students are expected to become fluent in academic language in order to guarantee success. This The understanding of academic language is shown to be very a strong indicator of how well a student will do within their specific subject area within English and within across all other subject areas as well. The more understanding a student has within academic language, the more likely they are expected to be successful in their entire academic career. Within academic language, there are four language demands. They are the language functions, vocabulary, syntax, and discourse. Looking at the language functions, this refers to what students do with language as they engage with the class content. And generally, language functions are defined by the verbs that are used within the learning goal, such as identify, analyze, summarize, and justify. It's a really good technique for teachers to teach their students about how to identify these language functions, because generally the language functions define what the goal of the lesson is and what the students must do in order to be successful within that lesson, or if it's a test, being able to properly identify what they need to answer in the questions on the test, or if it's a writing prompt, having a better understanding of what they need to do and how they can properly respond to the writing prompt. For instance, in a lesson, if it says to identify the specific rhetorical devices used within a paper, being able to understand that identify is the key goal is very crucial. Or if they need to analyze a poem to understand what the author is trying to what the message the author is trying to give to the reader. Understanding analyzing is like the crucial language function for that, and summarizing an argument within an essay or justifying their claims. Just having an understanding of what the language function is helps the students understand what is being asked of them and how they can properly respond to it. The vocabulary includes the words, phrases, and symbols used within disciplines. And there's a difference between the general academic words, which are used across all subject areas, and then there's the subject-specific words. And that just basically means what that word means in that specific subject area. For instance, when we're talking about in English and we are saying to like analyze like a poem, it's geared towards how you will address that. Or if you're constructing a persuasive essay, constructing in this sense, yeah, it does mean build, but it's more of like how do you create a persuasive essay? Like what are all the components that you're going to grab and use in order to put together and build and construct this persuasive essay? So the subject specific word just it is the definition of that word within that specific area of studying. Syntax is the rules for organizing words or symbols together into phrases, clauses, sentences, or visual representations. And the main function of syntax is the way in which we organize language to convey a specific meaning. And so within English, this can refer to constructing a thesis statement or constructing a specific style of a poem, and the way that you organize the language within the poem to draw out a specific emotion or to portray a specific story or moral. Can also refer to the persuasive essay and the ways that you organize language to construct a strong claim or counterclaim and the ways that you refute that. Or it could also refer to writing a narrative story and the descriptive techniques that you use in order to show versus telling your story. And that's the ability to organize this. The language within a narrative story really defines your ability to connect your experiences with others and immerse them within your own story. Moving on to discourse, this speaks of how students talk, write, and discuss the ideas within a subject and utilizing the structures of written and oral language. And within the English language arts, this could be the ways that they construct arguments, whether it's as they write it down or they're in a group and they're trying to argue for specific claims within a text, and the way that they discuss that and how they come up with their ideas and how they justify their claims through textual evidence. It could be through the ways that they interpret and construct graphic representations, or when they take Cornell notes on lessons or lectures or readings, and the ways that they analyze and write their poetry. And within academic language, it's important for us as teachers to identify what the language demands are and create language supports in order to guarantee our students' success and understanding of academic language. And this can include scaffolds, representations, and instructional strategies that the teachers use to help their students. And an example of this within English can be modeling textual references, using graphic organizers to help students better understand vocabulary, and using mentor texts and sentences in order to provide examples for students to emulate specific techniques and have a better understanding of how to properly use them within their own writing. And so basically, like, all these are just used to better help our students understand academic language and become successful in their study.